So, good evening, everyone, and welcome back again to another episode of FinTechTainment, a podcast initiated by RMIT Vietnam FinTech Club. The purpose of this podcast is to bring valuable lessons, stories, and perspectives from experts in the industry. We want to explore and break down different categories in fintech and make fintech accessible for everyone. So, for today's topic, we'll be understanding Uniswap, the future of decentralized finance. One of the leading decentralized exchanges aim to help users understand the potential and role of decentralized finance. So for today's guest speaker, we have a very special guest. She holds a degree in MIT and an MBA in Harvard Business School. She's widely recognized for her strength in strategic planning and growth leadership, with a career that spans consulting, fintech, and Web3. And since 2022, she has joined Uniswap as the head of growth and plays a central role in growth planning, monetization, and marketing to expand Uniswap. So may I introduce Ms. Sarina? Thank you for having on our show.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes. So on that note, I want you to kind of briefly introduce about yourself and maybe a bit about your role at Uniswap, like what you do in Uniswap.
Yeah, I thought you gave a great introduction. Thank you. As you said, I'm the head of growth at Uniswap. I've been here 2.5 years, and I'm focused on user and ecosystem growth globally. So I work on initiatives that include education, accessibility, and just making our protocol and our mainly our web and mobile applications more accessible to users around the world. And as part of this, we've been very focused on our APAC expansion efforts starting last fall. And got a chance to come to many countries throughout Asia, starting with Token 2049, and learn about the use cases and how we can better serve users in these geographies.
Oh, wow. That's nice to hear. And also, from what I've seen in your LinkedIn, you also co-founded Raya Collective, which is a fashion tech startup that innovated like South Asian fashion accessibility, right?
Yeah, that's right. So
And
I would usually say my whole career has been in some kind of fintech, except one part where I worked with my best friend and I founded a business to rent Indian clothing in the United States because it's really not accessible here. But actually, funnily, that ended up being my tunnel into Web3, or my rabbit hole into Web3, because we were renting dresses at the time of the pandemic, working with all these fashion designers in India. And when the pandemic hit, none of them, overnight, they lost all of their business because they were catering to weddings and there were no weddings anymore. So we started thinking about, how can fashion designers who have really strong communities and followers, how can they monetize products that are not physical products? So we started learning about NFTs and creating digital art with our fashion designers, and then NFT gated shopping experiences. And that's kind of was the beginning road into DeFi and crypto, actually.
Oh, wow. Well, that's very interesting to hear, actually. So like for someone new to crypto, so how do you explain Uniswap in like simpler terms?
Great. Yeah, I love that question. Uniswap is a digital tool to swap crypto tokens directly from your own wallet. So if you have two different types of tokens, or you have one and you want a different type of token, you can use Uniswap to swap those. You do not need to create an account or go through any kind of third party. You just use your own wallet, and the entire Uniswap protocol is powered by smart contracts and liquidity pools. So it's completely on the blockchain. And so that's one of the decentralized exchange unique.
Oh, okay. And with that, I want to kind of like emphasize on the difference that Uniswap actually has on decentralized finance compared to a traditional exchange block, like for example, Binance or Coinbase. So like, what are the difference between Uniswap and those kind of like traditional exchanges?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because every time we go abroad to any of these countries, similar in the United States, most of the people using crypto today do still sit on centralized exchanges. But that is changing very rapidly, and the move to decentralized exchange is happening as we speak. So what is the difference between the two? I think the major difference, or the way to put it, is that centralized exchanges hold your crypto and Uniswap does not. As a decentralized exchange, we never touch the funds that you have in your wallet. Those belong to you and you control them and where they go. Unlike a centralized exchange, which is more like a bank account where you actually put the crypto into a centralized exchange. So, I think an example of the risk of that is what we all saw globally with FTX in 2022, which is centralized exchange that then, held people's crypto. So when that sort of exchange became insolvent, people lost money. That is not possible in that way through a decentralized exchange, because you hold your own crypto in your own wallet and you trade directly using our smart contracts. At the end of the day, Uniswap protocol is an open source, permissionless, transparent protocol. And what do those words mean? So like open source is like many people can build on top of this infrastructure that we've built. It's permissionless. So when you come to use, you just connect your wallet. You don't need to KYC. We don't need to know who you are, or we don't need to vet who you are. You can just trade with the protocol directly. And it's transparent. All of the activity done is on the blockchain. So you can view every single transaction that happens on the blockchain, and you can see where your funds have gone and what transactions you've done. So that is all the advantage of being on the blockchain, which a decentralized exchange like us does, but a centralized exchange does not.
Oh, okay. So I kind of get how Uniswap kind of build trust, as I can see on how transparency with the blockchain.
That's right.
We can see the history of the exchanges between users, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yes. And on that note, I also want to emphasize how Uniswap ensures security between those exchanges. Like, how do you what kind of system do you guys have in Uniswap that builds security on top of being transparent and all that?
Yeah, exactly. So that's really important, and something that we think about a lot at Uniswap is how we can have, ultimately the most secure protocol to exchange tokens on chain. So first is, I mentioned that our code for the Uniswap protocol is open source, which also means that it's been audited by many, many others in the ecosystem. So V4, the latest version of our protocol, had 9 audits. And at some point, we put out one of the largest bug bounties in the history of Web3. It was a $15.5 million bug bounty, meaning if someone finds an error in this code, that actually, is true, they can receive a huge amount of money for doing that. Really incentivized, finding errors in our code before we ever actually published V4 and we actually took it to market. So that's how we believe that kind of decentralized auditing process creates a much more robust protocol at the end of the day, and decreases the security threat. So that's the first thing. The second thing I mentioned earlier is users always hold your funds. So there's no custodial risk, meaning there's no risk where we have taken custody of your funds and you can lose those funds. That type of risk is eliminated with Uniswap. And then the third is on our applications. We do a lot of work to add things like token warnings. So to have a safety layer on top, because one thing about crypto and Web3 is there are a number of scams, and you do need to know what you're doing when you enter into crypto trading on chain or off chain. And so we consider that a part of our responsibility as the application layer to really have those warnings in both our web app and our wallet, to kind of, when someone's about to transact with a token like that, to say, hey, are you sure? Do you know, all of the stipulations for this token before they're transacting? So those are the types of things we do to try to ensure security on chain. And that's something we keep focused on every day.
Oh, yeah, that's actually great. Yeah, because from what I've seen from Uniswap, you guys have a lot of kind of a selective range of networks, right? Like layer 2 networks to allow users to exchange token like Ethereum and USDT to
Yep.
between users, between the liquidity pool. So, and on that note, I want to kind of expand how Uniswap with layer 2 networks like Arbitrarium or Optimism, like what are the strategy behind this, and like how do you see like layer 2 shaping Uniswap's future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we offer today 13 plus networks, blockchains that you can interact through, all on the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. So we offer mainnet, which is the Ethereum L1, and then also offer several L2s. I think for us, the key is we want to be where our users are swapping. We want to, in the end, we don't think in the, full state of blockchains that users will really need to care what network their token is on. They just know I have token A and I want to get token B. And they shouldn't even really have to think about like, oh, do I need to switch from Arbitrum to Optimism to get that? So we try to, over time, we really want to abstract away the complexity of chains that underlies all of this and just be where our users, are transacting the most. So we do diligence on every chain and every network that we, deploy the protocol and our apps on, in order to say, what is the safety of this chain? What is the potential of this chain? How much do we trust this chain? And then we go ahead and, we can help to deploy on that chain. And so that's kind of our process. I think the most notable thing that signals where we think L2s are going is that we have our own chain, Unichain, which we launched earlier this year in 2025. Unichain is a chain built for DeFi. It is optimized for decentralized finance, unlike I think all other chains. So we are a super fast chain with 250 millisecond block times and a really gas efficient chain as well. So we have building a DeFi ecosystem on top of Unichain. And this is part of how we see scaling Ethereum and scaling the Ethereum network. Ultimately, we are, believers in being wherever the token are that our users want, but we're also believers in the EVM and the idea that Ethereum is the most battle-tested network out there. And so L2s are part of the roadmap to scaling Ethereum. And we wanted to give our own point of view with Unichain on what can help DeFi scale within the Ethereum ecosystem.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that really kind of helps to build on the community of crypto users, crypto holders, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it does, because Unichain is not just DEXs like Uniswap. Other sort of different types of transactions can happen on Unichain as well, and it's just a holistic ecosystem.
Oh, okay. And with that, can you give me more? How's your development on like kind of the Uniswap token? The Uniswap token, where like kind of give the community a bit of power to like have their like have their voices listened to, like from what I've heard, like the having.
So Uniswap Labs, that I am associated with, does not really do anything with the Uni token at all. And so we are separated from the governance and the Uni token entirely. But this is publicly available information that the Uni token is a governance token. It can be used to vote in the Uniswap DAO that votes on, future iterations of the Uniswap protocol, and also Uniswap Foundation. Yeah, so those are separate entities. So the DAO and Uniswap Foundation are separate entities from Uniswap Labs, which is for the development of the app layer.
Okay, so I want to ask the difference between AMM with Uniswap to like other competitors of Uniswap. So can you kind of explain how it is different and how it makes Uniswap like kind of compete a level above the competitors?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the protocol level, when Uniswap sort of invented the AMM, it was then, and it's open source. many others have, tried to use similar formulas, but Uniswap remains the place for the Uniswap protocol remains the place for the deepest liquidity, especially on some of the longest tail tokens, because anyone can spin up a pool for any token permissionlessly. So tends to have, a really wide range of tokens and deep liquidity on each. On the app layer, we set ourselves apart through our user experience. As I was kind of mentioning earlier, the crypto experience can be really confusing, especially for first-time users. And so we pride ourselves in trust, safety, and a really easy to navigate UX that takes a lot of the complexity of crypto and blockchain and makes it into a really simple interface that people can use really easily. So between, servicing providing access to the protocol with deepest and widest liquidity, and also providing an interface that is easy to access and highly trusted, that kind of combination, I think, gives us an advantage over a lot of our competitors.
Yeah, I can see. I have actually went on Uniswap website to kind of see how it works. Yeah, it's very kind of simplistic with the UI and UX, making it very easy to understand as well.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of things that try to also bring, our language even closer to what maybe new to crypto people would think of. So for example, before, many in crypto used to say swap, and that's not necessarily how a Web2 buyer thinks about tokens. They think about, I have this token, I want to buy this token, or I want to sell this token. So we sort of changed the UX to say buy and sell as something that, they can do. So I think we consistently try to innovate and iterate on how users can best understand how to get done what they want to do when they come to our applications.
Oh yes, it makes it really simple for new users of Uniswap. And on that, actually, I want to ask about how Uniswap can kind of with the UI and the UX is one thing, making Uniswap more accessible to a wide range of users. So what is Uniswap's plan on kind of making Uniswap accessible to for example, non-technical users? So how do you guys make it so that they can also use it and make it easy to understand from first glance?
Absolutely. In addition to a lot of the user experience, UX things that we're doing that I mentioned, another key piece for us, especially globally, is the fiat on-ramps piece. Is ultimately, if someone is new to crypto, they need to have a way to change their fiat to crypto and then begin exchanging crypto on chain. And so we think about this a lot on a geography by geography basis. So including in Vietnam, we look at what are the most popular ways that people would like to on-ramp. And so in Vietnam, I think MoonPay is the one that we find works really well, and you can connect. It also gives the option for Vietnamese users to connect their bank account, which I think is more common in Vietnam.
Yeah, of course.
So, I think these type of things, every single geography is different in what they allow, so what's legally allowed, what, we can do from, providing the best user experience, and what's kind of provides the best success rates in that region. And so, we do think about that a lot, and the fiat on-ramp support and widening that support. And so, for example, in the US, MoonPay offers Venmo as one of the potential fiat on-ramps. What are ways that, we can really connect to how users mostly have their funds, and places where they transact daily, and allow those to be, where it's allowed.
Making it accessible.
Make it really accessible.
Yes.
In addition to those kind of on-ramps, there's educational content that we're increasingly doing, especially again in abroad markets. So we're creating, everything from DeFi courses to many of our blog posts that kind of explain DeFi in more broken down terms and help it to feel more accessible.
Oh, yes.
And then some of the safety tools that I mentioned as well, being able to, do token warnings and things like that to help users who are new to really know what they're doing and that they're not getting scammed.
Okay. So kind of these educational content kind of teaches some of the basics of decentralized finance, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We're increasingly leaning into more of that creation because we're
yeah.
seeing how globally Uniswap sort of represents DeFi in a lot of ways. And so we think we
Yes.
can help to bridge that gap of like, especially users coming from centralized exchanges, understanding the DeFi experience. And so
Mm.
we are more and more work in like bridging that gap.
Oh, oh yeah. So you kind of like defining Uniswap's role of kind of expanding the reach of decentralized finance to like
Right.
users around the world.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. And
Exactly.
I want to ask like kind of what kind of strategy have you guys have got other than kind of these educational content and making features that are accessible and having different kind of like kind of MoonPay or like these wallets or kind of ways that users from around the world can use Uniswap, and what else have you guys done that to kind of expand Uniswap reach on DeFi to other countries?
Yeah. I think, one of the things with Unichain I was mentioning is just like lower fees and better user experience through Unichain on DeFi is ultimately something we believe we're creating for all of the DeFi ecosystem. So I think the
Yeah.
launch of Unichain was a big moment for us and for bringing DeFi to the masses as well. In addition, these like real world integrations that I was talking about earlier, that's like, whether it's Venmo or MoonPay, like, making our product most accessible. And then the last is like allowing through our trading API, local builders
Mm.
to create whatever the locally relevant tools and applications are for their part of the world. So our trading
Oh,
API is the same API that powers our own Uniswap front end. We also offer that as an external API that developers and builders can like build on top of to create their own applications, whether those are like fintech
yes.
applications that include swapping, or, it could be a remittances application that wants to include swapping anywhere where, you want swapping inherent to your product and the builders want to use the Uniswap API, they can. And so we,
Oh,
continue to spread that API and then kind of enable these local use cases through the API.
oh, so kind of like enabling local users to like trade using Uniswap's API, right?
Yeah, it's like really
Yeah.
enabling local builders to build local use cases that then the users
Oh,
locally,
oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh,
the
okay. Oh, I get it. I get it.
are integrating our API.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's actually makes a lot of sense to kind of like these coin holders, yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, and what do you think that kind of drive Uniswap to like kind of those mainstream adoption?
I think that that's, what we've been talking about. It's like the trust, the safety, being everywhere our users want, having low costs, low fees, and just continuing to be like the trusted exchange protocol of the internet. So that's kind of where we're heading, and adding
Yeah.
some of the DeFi education on top.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So, uh, I think for one last question before the end of our podcast, I want you to kind of describe Uniswap future in kind of one sentence. So what would it be? And yeah.
It would be our mission statement, which is unlocking universal ownership and exchange for all types of value online.
Hmm. Uh, and why is that statement particularly?
Yeah. Yeah, so we believe that in the future, like honestly, all types of value will be tokenized. And it's just a
Yeah.
better format for value transfer digitally. And so that can take, even things that are hard to put value on today, like content on the internet. And it can make them something that can be discreetly valued in the form of a
Yeah.
token. So, in that world where all assets are tokenized, we want to unlock the universal ownership and exchange of all of that type of value by being, the largest exchange protocol on the
Oh
digital,
yes.
like in the digital world.
Okay. So, Sarina, so where can people find out more about Uniswap and like, which platform are you guys mainly on?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we cover that. The kind of probably one of the best ways to follow Uniswap and our updates today is by following at Uniswap on X or Twitter. That is where we're like pretty much the most active in Vietnam in particular. There is a Uniswap Vietnam Facebook channel by fans. It's not run by us, but it's also, something that we think provides good updates. The Uniswap Discord, if you're a more technical builder and you want to ask questions of, the support teams here at Uniswap, you can find Uniswap on Discord as well. And then just a couple other places, but our blog, blog.uniswap.org, and our GitHub, github.com/Uniswap as well. And of course, use our applications that you can access on app.uniswap.org. You can download our wallet and use our web app as well.
Okay. And thank you so much for coming to our podcast, Sarina, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good luck to all of the work at your blockchain club. We're really excited to see all of it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.